welcome to Necessarily. Thank you so much for coming by. Today, we are discussing the psychology of money, timeless lessons on wealth, greed, and happiness by Morgan Housel. I hope I got that name right. I apologize, Morgan, if you hear this. So, this book is an amazing book. It was written just last year, but it has gotten like a lot of buzz. No, it was written in 2020. Right? It was written in 2020, but it has gotten so much buzz for a very short book. Like books like this are books that are big deals after a long period of time, or that is the assumption that a lot of us work with. However, this book has been such a hype. A lot of people are making noise. Read this book, is amazing, and I've read it. I read it on Scribd. The e-version is there, which was awesome. There is a rumor that is available on YouTube, but you know how I see reading book on YouTube. You're on your own. Okay, so that being said, since I had the e-version, I wrote in my textbook here, or my notebook here, things I learned from the book and I would like to share with you. So first of all, the general idea, the first thing that hits you with this book is that this man is looking at money from a different angle. I don't know if you understand. He's looking at money at a very different angle. So I think the fact that he's looking at it that way, I can understand why the hype is there, why what's happening is happening, why people are really into it. Because the fact is that or rather, not just money, wealth, creating wealth. So it's like he talks about the major issue, that's psychology of money. First of all, the major thing is that a lot of us don't understand. A lot of us, since we didn't learn it in school, or the way we learned it is generally limited compared to the way we learn everything else. Do you understand? Understand first of all that money is it's not like math, it's not like biology, it's not like the sciences. It's a totally different situation. And when someone is telling you this is what you will do to get money, they do not understand your unique situation, your unique mindset. To me, that's like the major thing. If you're going to make money, your mindset is what will determine how much money you're going to make, how much wealth you are going to keep. Okay, that goes without saying. I don't think it's been hammered a lot to us, the importance of our mindset with money, because we know that some people have money and then they lose it. Do you understand? Usually what happens is that they do not have the right mindset for that money. So the money just comes like a river, washes them and keeps going, and they are all washed out without money. While some people make a lot of money, make small money in fact, and somehow they're able to grow it to become what it is. Or they're able to have a lot of money and they're able to grow it. Do you understand? So understand circumstances, the mind, and the things that influence the mind is a lot. Your environment, the time that you were born. And this is another very American book written for Americans. So a lot of the reference is based upon American history. So he talks about the history of America, why suddenly the capitalist idea made a lot of sense, where people suddenly want to shop so much. Do you understand? How come people suddenly, as in like, how come in the US now, like if you don't shop, something is wrong with you? Everybody's shopping. It's like things that you want, things you don't want, things you think you want, and then you buy it, and then when you're tired of it, you throw it away. So it's like everybody is taking on this thing and running. So like it's formed a very high level of debt. Do you understand? No discipline is put in place for these people when they have their money. People are spending money that they're yet to earn in 3 years' time. I don't know if you understand. So it's like the mindset of wealth is the major issue. Okay, so the first thing is to understand that your behavior, your attitude towards life in general is the major source of your wealth. Do you understand? The way you treat money, the way you treat life, every single decision you make influences how wealthy you're going to be a few years from now. If you wake up one day and decide that you want to move to Indonesia because you like how beautiful the beaches are, how much money you're going to make is dependent, how much wealth you're going to have is dependent on whatever happens to you in Indonesia. If you woke up one day and sold everything you had in Nigeria and decided to move to Canada, which a lot of people are doing, it will greatly influence the kind of wealth you're going to have. And you know, like in Nigeria, we don't have the luxury of having the spending rave. We don't spend so much. Do you understand? People still have a lot of time to sit down and think, should I, shouldn't I? But when you're in a place where you don't even have to have the money to spend it, it's then you will know where the true character comes from. So it's like that would influence the kind of wealth that you will have as a person. So that's the major thing. Then your environment. He talks about things like the way people invest is greatly influenced by the time that they were born in the US. People that were born maybe during the war may have a higher tendency, or after the war, may have a higher tendency of trusting the stock markets, because those people sometime in the 90s or the 80s, they made a lot of money from the stock market. But people that are born in the 80s may not even want to invest in the stock market, because they saw the people make money from the stock markets in the 80s. Then in the 90s, the stock market stayed crashing, and then they realized, because when you now hear of people that kill themselves because the economy went down, some people kill their whole family, kill themselves. So it's like, when you hear those kind of stories, you're not in a hurry to invest. You're like, this is a problem. So this influences your ability, what you would invest in. So that person would likely invest in maybe something else, maybe housing, real estate. But even that, one day the real estate, whatever, will crash. I don't know if you understand. So it's like, all those things will influence the way that you invest. And you either work extra hard to change that, or you may not do it at all. But you have to just remember that your situation is unique when it comes to money, your understanding of wealth. That is why nobody can really tell you how to make money. I remember I was listening to a video one day, like a conference, something like that. Well, Warren Buffett, we're going to talk about a bit later, was talking to people about something that amazes him these days, where someone can come have a seminar and say, have a seminar, how I made $50 million through trading, and I can teach you. And he's like, he doesn't understand. He doesn't understand how people are buying into it. So it's okay, pay for $1,000 today, you can learn. So like the person made the person made $50 million and is asking you for 1,000 for them to teach you. Like, it's like him saying, make it make sense. It doesn't still make any sense. Do you understand? First of all, there's a uniqueness that comes with that kind of this. And now, Warren Buffett's story, this man actually mentioned it. What makes Warren Buffett very rich? Now, if you don't know Warren Buffett, please do your research, okay? I'll write a bit about him here so that you know that he's here. But, however, please do a bit of research. He's someone that is worth listening to. He's cool. So, Warren Buffett is someone, right now he's almost 90 years, if not over 90. I don't know how old he is. Again, I'll write his text here. He started investing when he was 10 years old. Do you know what year it was 10 years ago? If he's 90 now, 80 years ago. 80 years ago was 1930, 1940, 1920, thereabout. I don't know. I'm not doing the math right now. I'm just guessing. Do you understand? It's 1940, I think. So sometime in the 1940s, a 10-year-old boy started investing money in the stock market, in banks, in real estate. And the man is has been steady for the past 2 decades, steady, the richest man like this. Now, he also talked about one other guy, I've forgotten his name now, who is a far better investor than Warren Buffett. But that one started investing when he was in his 50s. Now, he has a lot of money, there's no argument, but he comes nowhere close to Warren. And he was saying that if we could compare, if this man started investing at 10, just like Warren, that would have made this man to be, like, his money, the money that he tried to calculate how much the man would be worth, considering how well he invests, is uncountable. You know when we're small, we say uncountable and uncountable. That's infinity kind of number. He says an uncountable amount. Do you understand? So you have to remember the thing like time. Investing in your 40s is different from investing in your 20s. And then the knowledge that you gather also matters. Some people trust the NFTs now, the big coins, more than they would trust buying land. Do you understand? Some people trust investing in tech companies than investing in stock markets, because right now we don't know what the stock is doing. So it's like, it's easy for us to think that because we came from this time. The thing is that someone that is like, let's say 50 years old might still want to invest in the stock market, because he has seen, he or she has been around people who have invested and made a lot of money. So they just don't see any other way. So just understand that there is a uniqueness to you, and how that your uniqueness in your mind is going to affect the way you make money, your ability to make wealth. Okay? So that's the major kro of this story. That's the major juice of the story. So the book is very refreshing. Like, it's a very new way of looking at money, which I love. It's not confusing. It's not all these books that when you finish reading, you're asking yourself a jam question. Like I said, I have a lot of text here. I don't know if I should get into all of them. Let me see if I can read just one. Let's see. Everything that I said now, I've said it from here. But yeah, that's pretty much it. There's just some major things that affect your this thing, but the major thing starts with your mind. Your mind is greatly affected by your environment, the time that you're born, and then the social circles that you're in. Those are the major things that will influence how much money you make and how you're going to make it. Okay, now there are even still a few things that can still make a differences. But that now is unique to you. Do you understand? Being a Nigerian, it affects who you trust. Some people, I know people that have told me that they will never buy land in Nigeria. Never. They tell you they don't trust the government. And I think about it, that is weird. But then do you blame them? Do you understand? Do you blame them? Because I know that some 30, 40 years ago, when we were military rule, people's lands were taken away from them. Some people were compensated, some people weren't compensated. So why should, as in like, if I saw that, like if I had an uncle or my dad had a house, beautiful house, we were living there, it was fine. One day government said, I push come and pack your things and go. And there was nothing anybody could do about it. So we now packed and moved to one place somewhere, and they gave my father 30 million naira. Do you think I will not do it? I don't know if you understand. There's something happening somewhere in Lagos right now. If you do your research, if you're in Lagos, about some people that are having to be moved because some years ago those people were moved and they sold the land to somebody else. This was almost 30 years ago, and now they've moved them over 30 years ago, something from the 80s. I don't know if you understand. So that's just the issue. So like when somebody now says, nothing will make me invest in land, even though I believe that land is one of the best investments you can have. Even when someone says that, I want to say, don't say that, but you have to understand where the person is coming from. All you have to do is ask a few questions. Say, my uncle, when I was 5 years old, my uncle, they kicked him out. You now be like, oh wow. So he talked about the dangers of listening to economists and gurus that tell you the things that you should do. They tell you based upon the overall view or their own view. Do you understand? Has that ever happened to you when somebody is telling you that you should, like if you can just bring out some $10,000, you solve this problem, and you're like, I'm sorry, who has 10,000? I'm sorry, which 10,000? From where? You don't know if you have 10,000 naira to your name right now, and you out there talking about $10,000. The person is talking from their own view. For them, $10,000 is nothing, and it's not wrong. I don't know if you understand. They're just talking. So it's just that same way. And then he said that he found it interesting how a lot of these investment gurus don't strictly follow the things that they teach. I read one of the most confusing investment books I've read in my life. What's that called? The Investor, forgotten. One of those books that everybody says you must read and you must like. That book has confused me till tomorrow. The man says that book was written 4 times, like 4 different times. And on the dying bed, the man that wrote the book, he said that he would not have followed one of the ones that, I don't know if you understand. Because there are things that influence. He wrote that book at a particular time when he was doing something. That changed. So understand the change of things like creating wealth. People that have been able to create wealth are people that have been able to stay fluid, like water. They've been able to move as it moves, stay as it stays. Do you understand? I'm telling you, do small research. Look at people that made a lot of money. And it's not just about investment and all that. It's about, you can check out entrepreneurs, people that have sold things, people that have created things, people that have invested in things. Do you understand? You realize that some people, in some cases, you see here 4 people did one thing. One person was the only one that succeeded. The other 3 did not. In some cases, 4 people invested in something. 3 people succeeded. 1 did not. What was the difference? The mind. Most times. Okay, so that's pretty much it with this book. Should you read this book? I really believe this is a must read. I think it's a must read because the man actually makes it very clear how do I put it? The factors, like he actually details even further the factors that influence your ability to make wealth and what it is and what it does for you as a reader is that you quickly start to understand that there are some things about you that has either stopped you from creating wealth or helped you create wealth very well, and then you just figure them out, find them. This is that. Point them out. I said finger. That was just wrong. Point them out. You point them out. Okay, so yeah, this was that was this. So you look at your time, your date of birth. What was one major thing that happened that made you think, I'll never do this in Jesus' name. I don't know if you understand. So those kind of things. Those are things that affect things. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you are having a beautiful time. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Like this video so that more people can see. Join the community. Share with your friends and family and your enemies. Anybody you want to share with, share with. We're going to make money this year, 2022. Here we come. So that's it for us and the psychology of money. This book is worth it, And there's some things I would question, but then I'm not American. So I wouldn't know. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.